So if we're not fortunate enough to have a father in the home, what are some rites of passages that we can kind of create, or men's groups that we can find to kind of reintroduce that concept to families that don't have it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I don't ever like to speak of anything that I haven't experienced myself.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's why our message is resonating with so many people, is because it is genuinely authentic and true. And you can feel that, right?
Mhm.
And so I say that because, in parts of my journey, I distanced myself from other men because I was afraid. And I was afraid of being let down because my father let me down, right? And so I distanced myself from having even male relationships, male friendships, and it's something that I had to work on, and if I'm brutally honest, it's something that I'm still working on, right? And the reason why I bring that up is because I don't know that I necessarily have been a part of any groups or anything. For me, it all started by going back into myself.
Mhm.
That's where I found everything. And that's where I would encourage everybody to look, is back in yourself. And so, that sounds kind of like, oh, wow, back in yourself. But like, what does that mean? Right? That
Mhm.
means sometimes you got to start by just looking in the mirror. Like I remember when I did that for the first time in my life, and Candace, I was literally like afraid to do that. I
Mhm.
was afraid to just sit still and look in the mirror and look in my own eyeballs. That's how much shame and guilt was inside of myself. And then I started to think, wait a minute, like what's going on here? Like, why can't I look at my and I started to ask myself these questions, right? Until I finally was able to do that and I was able to smile. Back then I was 50 pounds overweight and I lived this terrible, terrible life where I would stand in the mirror every morning and look at myself and feel ashamed of myself because I was powerful in the business world, right? There
Mhm.
was millions of dollars coming in, but I was 50 pounds overweight. And the idea and the vision that I had of myself and for my life was a life that was full of abundance in every area of his life. So then I started that. So then I started to notice, Candice, I started to notice I would step on the scale, look at the scale, feel depressed, look in the mirror, go eat something that I shouldn't have eaten. And then like it was like literally I was on auto loop like that for like
Mhm.
20 years. 20 years where I would do the same thing every day until I threw away the scale. And then I started to notice how much I needed sports, how much I needed like to know what was going on, what team won and what team lost, and how my emotions were always high or low based off of what was happening on the TV. And I started to ask myself, well, what's that all about? Like, why? What's going on in my life that isn't causing me enough excitement within my own life? So much so that I have to find that excitement and that passion in the life of another man. These are
Mm.
all just profound questions that I started to ask myself. And when I did, Candace, and when I actually started going into myself and I started doing what I call is like literally disconnecting from the system and the matrix, I'll never forget. I went to the Patriots. I went to the Patriots game because I love Tom Brady. And I went to go see him play a couple years back when he was there. And I literally with my eyes saw the matrix. I saw it all. I saw men bumbling around with each other, poisoning themselves with alcohol, right? Like literally starting to fight with each other because of the anger and hostility that they had inside of themselves, that the alcohol was triggering, which by the way,
Mhm.
they need the alcohol because they need an outside source to make them feel happy, whole, powerful, confident, and complete. And then I saw all the advertisements all over the stadium. It was like, I don't know how to explain this, but it was like if I was in a different world and I was
Mm.
watching the whole thing happen. I was watching how we spend money to be entertained by other people where we should be entertaining ourselves.
Mm.
I was
Mhm.
watching all of it play out and I thought, well, I don't think I can participate in this anymore. So for me, the answer is I slowly started to pull away and remove the distractions in my life. And that's how I was able to find myself.
I really resonate with that. I've had similar experiences where, whether it was through a meditation, through just the content that you're consuming that kind of just shifts the way that you see reality, but there's like this epiphany that happens, like, holy cow, I've kind of been just going through the motions and just part of this giant machine and not consciously making any of my decisions. It's like this very real chance that you have to either wake up or to kind of continue along that conveyor belt, if you will.
Absolutely.